The desert planet of Regos was silent, covered in cold red dust that moved like smoke under the wind. The sky above was dark, filled with thick clouds that hid the sun. For most travelers this place was deadly, but for him, for a human who survived 15 years of endless hunting, this ground felt almost familiar, almost safe. He walked slowly to the center of the valley, his boots sinking into the soft dust. In his hand, he held a small metal box, scratched, burned, and dented from years of running. He bent down and opened it. Inside were 9 metal tags, each belonging to a Cordal hunter he had defeated. He placed the tags carefully in a line on the ground. Like fallen soldiers in a silent graveyard, the wind shifted, carrying the faint sound of metal armor moving. He did not look up. He already knew who it was. He felt her presence long before he heard her steps. She was the shadow behind every planet he crossed. The nightmare that refused to die, the Huntress of the Cordal, the one who marked him as her prey 15 years ago. He kept his eyes on the 9 tags and spoke calmly. "You're on time." His voice did not shake, his heart did not race. He had waited for this moment, trained for it, survived for it. Then he added, 9 lie here." He finally looked over his shoulder and saw her standing at the edge of the fog. "Yours is next." The Huntress stepped forward, her tall armored frame glowing with green lines of alien energy. Her armor was not like the others he faced. It was marked with silver scratches and old battle scars. She had earned every scar by defeating hundreds of warriors across the galaxy. She wore them like trophies. She walked with slow confidence, not rushing, not hiding. Her movements were smooth and controlled, like a predator who already knew the outcome of the hunt. Her helmet had sharp angles and a visor that shone like a burning emerald. He stood straight, his hand resting on the knife at his belt. A knife made from the armor of her first hunter, the one she sent after him 15 years ago. He did not run, not this time. This was the place he chose for the final hunt. The Huntress stopped a few steps away. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The wind howled around them like a distant scream. The sky rumbled with thunder. The tension between them felt like a tight wire ready to snap. He asked quietly, "Do you know their names?" He pointed to the 9 tags on the ground. "They hunted me. They tried to kill me. They failed." The Huntress tilted her head slightly, studying him. Her voice finally came out through the helmet speaker, cold and sharp. "You survived longer than expected." She stepped closer. "Humans were not meant to endure this long." He almost laughed. "You still don't understand humans." He took a step toward her. "We break, yes, but we stand again." The Huntress paused, as if considering his words. Then she touched the side of her helmet, and it opened with a hiss. The front plate lifted, revealing her face for the first time in 15 years. He froze, his eyes widened. He knew that face, or at least the shape of it. Her species looked humanoid, but her skin was pale silver, her eyes bright green, and her expressions sharp and intense. But it was not her alien features that shocked him. It was the look in her eyes. A look he had seen once, long ago, a look of recognition. "You remember," she said softly. It was not a question. It was a statement. He clenched his jaw, memories flooding back. He remembered the first battle on the outpost near Vega. The chaos, the explosions, the desperate escape. He remembered seeing her across the battlefield before the hunt even began. He remembered something else too, something he pushed deep inside for 15 years. A promise he made to himself. But he did not speak of it, not yet. Instead, he pointed to the ground again. 9 lie here, he repeated. They came before you. They fell before you. The Huntress looked at the tags, then back at him, her expression unreadable. "They were weak," she said. "But I am not." He smiled faintly. "Good." He stepped into a ready stance. "I didn't survive 15 years to fight someone weak." Lightning cracked across the sky, sending bright light over the valley. Their shadows stretched long and twisted across the dust. The Huntress drew her spear, the weapon humming with deadly energy. He tightened his grip on his knife, feeling the rough handle that had saved his life so many times. The wind stopped, the world went silent. The final hunt was about to begin. Asterisk. The moment the Huntress lifted her helmet, the past rose inside him like a storm. It was not a soft memory, not a gentle echo. It came sharp, bright, and painful, like the blast of a forgotten explosion. The valley around him faded from his mind, and the years rolled backward, pulling him 15 years into the past. Back to the first time humans met the Cordal. It began on Outpost Vega 9. A small research station built on a floating plateau above a shining blue desert. Back then, he was young, fresh from training, and full of brave ideas that did not match the real dangers of the galaxy. Humans were still new to deep space, still learning the strange languages and strange rules of alien life. The universe felt big and exciting, not deadly and cold like it felt now. He remembered standing on the outpost platform the night the Cordal ship arrived. It was not announced, not expected. The sky simply cracked open with silver light, and their warship descended like a falling star. Soldiers around him moved into formation. Confused and nervous, but he had stared at the ship in shock. It was beautiful in a terrifying way. Shaped like a crescent blade, sharp at every angle. When the ship's door opened, he saw them for the first time, tall, armored, silent. The Cordal walked with the confidence of a species that had ruled hundreds of systems. Their steps were perfect, their armor polished, their eyes cold. Humans might have dreamed of peace, but the Cordal never came for peace. Among them, he had noticed her, the Huntress, different even then. She did not walk in line with the others. She scanned everything, every wall, every human. Every breath of the wind, she moved like someone who saw threats everywhere. Even in shadows, he had not known her name then. He only called her, the one with the green eyes, that night. Things changed for humanity. The Cordal declared a challenge. They wanted to test human strength. They did not attack planets or cities. They wanted something else, something stranger. They demanded one human be chosen, one human to be hunted across multiple worlds. If that human survived a full cycle 15 years, then the Cordal would admit humans had spirit. They would respect Earth. They would end their small raids on human colonies. But if the human died, the Cordal would claim humans were weak, soft, and unworthy of expansion. He never forgot the fear on the commander's face when the challenge was explained. No one wanted to choose someone. No one wanted to offer a life for a test. But he stepped forward, young and foolish maybe, but brave in a way only youth can be. "I will do it," he had said, and the room went silent. The Huntress stepped toward him then, her armor gleaming. Her eyes locked onto his like she was already measuring him, judging him. She reached out, touched his shoulder with her armored hand, and said only one sentence. "I claim this hunt." He felt the weight of that moment even now. Standing in the dusty valley, a hunt claimed by her was not a simple chase. It was a vow carved into the traditions of her people. Once begun, it could not be undone. If she failed to kill him, she would wear the shame for the rest of her life. From that day, the chase began. He remembered the first escape, the alarms, the explosions. The way he ran through metal corridors while the Huntress walked behind him with calm steps. She did not rush, she did not fire. She stalked him as if testing how fast he could move and how long he could stay alive. He remembered leaving Vega 9, jumping into a stolen shuttle, crossing the burning sky while the Cordal ship followed him like a hawk following a mouse. He remembered landing on the jungle moon of Istra, where he fought the first hunter sent after him, a massive warrior with 4 arms and armor thick as stone. He survived by tricking the beast into falling off a cliff. That night he learned something important. Humans were small but clever. The Huntress watched from the trees that night. Her green eyes glowing, she did not help him. But she also did not strike while he was weak. Instead, she studied him, learning how humans fought, how humans thought. Every world after that became part of their long story. The freezing plains of Vora, the toxic swamps of Sharka, the dark caves of Arun. On each planet, another hunter came, and each one died, leaving behind a metal tag that he kept, 9 tags for 9 fallen hunters. But the Huntress herself never attacked him directly. She shadowed him, waited, followed him through storms and battles, always watching, always judging, always learning. At first he thought she wanted pride, then revenge, then honor, but now, facing her without her helmet, he understood something new, something deeper. She was not hunting only to kill him. She was hunting to understand him, to understand humans. His eyes hardened as the past faded and the valley returned. The Huntress stood before him, quiet and still. The same green eyes watching him, the same eyes he saw 15 years ago. And now he finally understood why she never attacked first. The Huntress wanted to know one thing: could humans rise, or would humans break? He lifted his knife slightly, the metal catching the weak light. "You wanted to see what we are," he said. "Well, here I am." The wind moved between them like a whisper, carrying the weight of 15 long years. The final test had begun. For 15 long years, the galaxy became a giant maze. And he was the mouse that refused to die. Every planet, every barren moon, every broken ruin turned into another piece of the deadly game between him and the Huntress. But this was not a simple chase. It was never just about running. It became a story of evolution. A story of what a human becomes when pushed beyond the limit. The first world, Istra. The jungle moon Istra was a place where sunlight barely touched the ground. Huge trees with black leaves grew so tall they blocked the sky. The air smelled of wet earth and strange flowers. Creatures with glowing eyes hid inside the vines. Always waiting, always hunting, the first hunter came here. A beast like Cordal with 4 arms and armor thicker than tank steel. The creature moved like a living tank, smashing trees, roaring through the forest. He had no weapons then, only a broken knife and a desperate will to live. Instead of fighting strength with strength, he used the world around him. He noticed the vines tightening when touched. Strong enough to crush bone, he lured the beast toward a cliff edge, cut the vine at the right moment, and watched as the vines wrapped around the hunter's legs and pulled him down the cliff. That night, he took the first metal tag. And far in the shadows of the jungle, the Huntress watched him. Silent, unseen, the second world, Vora, the frozen plains Vora, was a world of endless ice. Wind sharp enough to cut skin, and storms that came without warning. The second hunter, a tall female warrior, fought with long-range rifles and traps. She wanted him frozen, not broken. He learned to dig snow tunnels, to hide under drifting ice, to listen for the hum of her rifle before she shot. He survived 3 nights without sleep. On the 4th night, he used her own traps against her. She stepped on a pressure plate she set. The ice cracked, and she vanished into the deep frozen river below. He collected her tag. The Huntress watched again. Her breath visible in the cold air. The third world, Sharkle. The toxic swamp Sharkle was death-wrapped in fog. The ground was unstable. The rivers burned skin, and giant insects hunted anything warm. The third hunter was fast, too fast. He could leap across swamp trees and move like the wind. But the hunter did not respect the swamp. The swamp did not respect him either. He baited the hunter into chasing him across thin ground. One wrong step was enough. The swamp swallowed the fast warrior whole, leaving behind only bubbles and silence. The Huntress arrived hours later and stood near the swamp, her eyes following the trail he used. She understood something new that day. Humans learned at impossible speed. Years of planets, years of war, world after world. The hunt continued. A volcanic moon where he fought in lava tunnels. A broken space station where gravity failed every minute. A desert world where the sun burned the skin and melted metal. 9 hunters came, 9 hunters fell, but not because he was stronger. Not because he had better weapons, but because humans adapt. And he adapted faster than any of them expected. He built traps from leftover metal. He made weapons from alien bones. He learned to speak 3 alien languages to trick local creatures. He fought with fire, with poison, with shadows. He learned every dirty trick that kept him alive. And through all of it, the Huntress followed, not far behind. Not close enough to strike, but always watching, always learning. Always judging how much he changed. Sometimes at night, he felt her eyes through the dark. Not hateful, not vengeful, but curious. Like a scientist watching an experiment grow. There were times she could have killed him. Times he fell exhausted on a forest floor. Times he slept inside a cave with no weapon in hand. Times he bled from wounds from beasts and hunters alike, but she never attacked in weakness. She wanted him at full strength. She wanted the perfect hunt. She wanted the perfect conclusion, the realization by the 12th year. Something strange happened inside him. He stopped running because he feared death. He started running because he wanted to understand her too. Why did she wait? Why did she watch? What did she want from him? What was she trying to prove? And why, after so many years, did he feel a strange connection to the alien who hunted him without rest? The 15th year, the Valley of Ragus after all the worlds. All the battles, all the blood and exhaustion. He returned to Regos, the place where it first began. The place he chose for the end. He placed the 9 tags down in the dust. He faced the Huntress with calm eyes. And she stepped forward without fear. The final hunt was here. He realized the truth like fire in his chest. This was no longer a hunt about death. This was a test of species, a test of spirit. A test of what humanity could become when pushed to the very edge. And now, after 15 years, the test was ready to end, one way or another. Asterisk, the wind of Regos whispered across the valley as they faced each other. But the real storm was inside him. He had survived 15 years of terror. 15 years of running. 15 years of killing, but now, standing this close to her, he felt something different. A strange pressure in his chest, like something important was about to break open. The Huntress stood tall, silent, her silver skin glowing faintly under the pale sky. She held her spear but did not raise it. Her eyes locked on his with a strange, unreadable intensity. It was not the look of a warrior preparing to kill. It was the look of someone who had waited too long for a truth to be spoken. "You changed," she said quietly. Her voice was steady. But there was something behind it, something heavy. "You are not the same human I first claimed." He took a breath and replied. 15 years change anyone. But she shook her head. Not like this. She stepped closer. Not attacking but observing, studying him the way she always did. "You were weak," she said. Soft, slow. Confused, her eyes narrowed. "But you learned, you grew. You became something my people did not expect." He felt confusion creep into him. "What do you mean?" The Huntress did not answer immediately. She walked past him and stood before the 9 metal tags lying in the dust. She crouched down slowly, touching them with her armored fingers, as if reading a secret written on each cold piece of metal. 9 hunters, she whispered. 9 elite warriors, each trained since childhood. Each chosen for their strength. She looked up at him again. "You killed them." She said it without anger, without pride. Only with a strange tone he could not understand. It almost sounded like respect. Or regret. He folded his arms, waiting. "You sent them," he said. "You drove them after me." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "No," she said. "I did not." His heart skipped. He stared at her in shock. "What?" "I did not send them," she repeated. "They followed the hunt, but the hunt was not mine to control." He took a step back. Then who controlled it? She stood slowly, dust falling from her armor. "Satari Kor," she answered. The High Circle. He felt cold inside. The High Circle, the leaders of the Kortal Empire. The strongest, the ancient rulers. They had chosen him. Not by accident, not by chance, but by design. Why me? He demanded. How could they choose a random human? The Huntress shook her head. You were not random. She pointed at him slowly. You were selected because of your mind, your instincts. Your actions on Vega 9. He felt his stomach twist. He remembered that night. Remembered running toward a burning lab to save 2 wounded workers. Remembered pushing open a half-collapsed door with his bare hands. Remembered carrying them out while alarms screamed around him. That moment, she said softly. My people saw it. It was recorded, broadcast through the ranks. A human risking death for strangers. Her voice lowered. Kortal do not understand such a thing. He swallowed hard. That's why I was chosen? Yes, she said. To see if that spirit, that fire inside you, was real. She took another step closer. I was ordered to claim the hunt, but I was not ordered to kill you quickly. He stared at her. The pieces began to click together, her watching from the shadows, her choosing not to strike in his weakest moments, her following him across worlds without a killing blow. You were studying me, he whispered. You were studying humans. The Huntress did not deny it. Yes, she said. You were the test. He felt anger rise in his chest. 15 years, he said sharply. You turned my life into an experiment. But she shook her head. Not just an experiment, she said. A warning. He froze. A warning for who? Her eyes darkened. For the galaxy. The silence that followed was heavy. Thick, unbreathable. She looked at him without blinking. Humans adapt too fast, she said. Humans grow too fast. Humans break rules that other species cannot even understand. He clenched his fists. That's a reason to hunt us. Her voice softened. No. It is a reason to fear you. He felt the words like a strike to the chest. Fear. The Kortal feared humans. They feared what humans could become. You were chosen, she said. To see if humanity is a threat. The valley seemed colder, darker. He looked into her eyes and saw something he never expected. Not anger, not pride, but conflict. As if she had been carrying the truth she did not want to reveal. And what did you learn? He asked, after 15 years? She stepped closer, so close he could hear her slow breath. I learned that humans cannot be stopped, she whispered. And the High Circle will not accept that. A chill ran through him. What are you saying? She lowered her spear to the ground. A gesture of peace. I am saying, she whispered, that the hunt was never the real danger. He stared. Breath locked in his throat. The real danger, she said, is coming for Earth. The valley fell silent. And the truth finally opened between them like a wound that would never close. Asterisk, the valley felt smaller now, as if the world itself leaned in to hear what came next. The human stood still, trying to process her words. But they hit him like cold iron. The real danger is coming for Earth. His breath tightened, his hands curled into fists. For 15 years he had fought, bled, and crawled across the galaxy to survive her hunt. And now she told him the hunt had only been a shadow. He stared at her, anger mixing with fear. What danger? He demanded, what is coming? The Huntress did not answer right away. She turned her head slightly, looking at the empty sky as if searching for something she could not see. Her green eyes reflected the weak light, showing a war happening inside her mind. Finally she looked back at him. It is not one threat, she said. It is many. It is what happens when the High Circle believes a species grows too quickly. He felt his heart drop. You mean a purge? The Huntress closed her eyes for a moment. Yes, she whispered. A cleansing. He stepped back. Shock crashing through him. A cleansing of Earth? Of my people? Her face tightened. That is why I needed to know, she said. To see if you were worth saving, worth saving. The words hit him harder than any alien weapon ever had. His anger surged and he stepped toward her. You hunted me for 15 years to see if humans were worth saving. His voice rose, sharp and fierce. Are we animals to you? She did not flinch, even as he came close. No, she said quietly. You are something far more dangerous. He froze. Dangerous. A word spoken with caution, but also with a strange respect. Then why continue the hunt? He asked, why wait for this moment? The huntress lifted her spear and placed it gently in the dust. A sign that she was not here to kill him. Not yet, maybe not ever. Because I needed you to stand, she said. To rise again and again. To show that human spirit is more than luck. More than instinct, more than chance. She walked past him slowly, circling him like she had done in 100 different worlds. Only this time there was no rage in her steps, only purpose. You defeated 9 hunters, she continued. Each stronger than the last, you adapted. Changed, learned. He nodded slightly. I survived. No, she corrected. You evolved. Her voice lowered into something close to admiration. That is why they fear you. He felt something burn inside his chest. A fire that refused to die. For years he had fought because he wanted to live. Now he fought because his species was in danger. Now he fought because Earth was at stake. He took a slow breath, forcing himself to calm. What does the High Circle plan? She looked down at the 9 tags in the dust. If they judge humans as a threat, she said, they will send the Purge fleet. They will erase Earth before your species reaches full strength. The words chilled him. Humans had only just begun to explore the stars. They had only taken their first steps. And now powerful alien rulers wanted to end them before they grew too strong. He shook his head. They can't just destroy Earth. They can, she replied. They have done it before. Silence fell between them like a falling stone. Heavy, final, breaking something inside him. He looked into her eyes again. Then why tell me? Why help me now? Her voice softened. Because you changed me too. He blinked in surprise. Changed you? She nodded slowly. When I claimed the hunt, I expected a weak creature. A creature that breaks after one world. A creature that cries, hides, and dies quickly. She took a small breath. But instead, I saw something else. I saw a species that refuses to kneel. I saw a human who turns fear into strength. I saw the fire of a world that I do not want to see erased. He stepped closer. And you want to stop the purge? Her jaw tightened. I want to stop it, she said. But I cannot stop it alone. The valley wind grew colder. Swirling dust around their feet, human spirit and alien pride stood face to face. 2 warriors shaped by 15 years of battle, 2 enemies who now needed each other. He studied her carefully. So what happens now? The huntress lifted her spear again, but this time not to strike. She planted it in the ground between them. A symbol of challenge, not a challenge of death, but a challenge of strength. A trial between species. We fight, she said. But not as enemies, as proof, he frowned. Proof of what? Proof, she said, that humans are not prey, that humans do not fall, that humans deserve to live. She stepped back and raised her hands in a combat stance. The High Circle watches everything. They will watch this too, he understood instantly. This fight would not be a simple duel. It would be a message to the galaxy. A message written in dust and blood. A message that could save Earth. He tightened his grip on his knife. His heart beat steady, his mind clear. Human spirit versus alien pride. A battle that would decide the future of an entire world. And the wind between them whispered, begin. Asterisk. The wind held its breath as the human and the huntress stood across from each other. Their shadows stretched across the red dust. Long and sharp like 2 blades waiting to clash. The sky above darkened with heavy clouds. As if the world itself knew a great moment was about to unfold. The huntress shifted her stance first, her movements slow, careful, precise. Her armor hummed with soft green energy, and her eyes glowed with the same fierce light he had seen on a dozen worlds. But this time, her gaze carried something new. A weight, a doubt, a question she had never asked before. He tightened his grip on his knife. The blade worn from years of survival. Still sharp, still deadly. His muscles ached from old wounds, but his mind was clear. Calm, focused, he had faced monsters, traps, beasts, and alien warriors. But this moment felt heavier than all of them combined. This was not just a fight. This was a message to an entire empire. The huntress lifted her spear, the weapon buzzing with power. "Are you ready?" she asked. Her voice was steady, but he heard the tension beneath it. He nodded once. "I've been ready for 15 years. The world exploded into motion. She lunged forward with speed that blurred her form. The spear slicing through the air, he barely dodged. Dropping low and rolling across the dust, the spear's energy crackling inches from his back. He came up on one knee and swung his knife in a fast strike. She twisted away with inhuman grace, her armor flashing in the dim light. Her counter was brutal, a sweeping kick that sent dust flying. He blocked it with his forearm. Pain shooting through his bone, they separated for a moment, circling each other, both breathing hard, both refusing to give ground. This was not like the chases of the past. Not like the silent shadow games on alien worlds. This was raw, direct, and open. The huntress attacked again. Faster this time, her spear came in arcs. Sweeping left, stabbing right, cutting low. He dodged, blocked, deflected, moving like a man shaped by 1,000 close calls. When she thrust her spear forward, he twisted under it and slid past her armor, slicing across her side. A thin line of glowing silver blood followed his blade. She hissed, not in anger, but in surprise. "You grow even in the final moment," she said. Her voice held a strange pride. He did not answer. He rushed forward. She responded instantly. Their weapons clashed, knife meeting spear. The impact shook his arm. The energy from her weapon crackled like lightning. She pushed him back with sheer strength. But he refused to fall. He planted his foot and slid. Regaining balance, he breathed deep, steady. "You fight like no human I have seen," she said. "And you hold back nothing," he replied. "For you," he rushed her again. Their bodies colliding in a violent dance, she spun, sweeping her spear. He ducked, closing the distance. His knife scraped her armor. Sending sparks flying, she used her elbow. Catching him across the jaw, the world flashed white for a second. He stumbled, but he did not fall. He launched forward again, tackling her into the dust. She rolled with the impact, twisting her body and kicking him off. They rose together, both bleeding, both panting, both refusing to give even an inch in the sky above. A strange shimmer flickered, a silent watcher, a chortle drone. Recording everything, she noticed it, so did he. "This is it," the huntress said softly. "The high circle sees us now." He looked at her. "Then let's show them what humans are." They clashed again. She moved like a storm. He moved like fire. Her spear sliced across his shoulder, burning his skin. He gritted his teeth and charged anyway. He caught the spear shaft, forcing it down. She pushed back. Her strength immense, for a moment. They stood locked together, face to face, breathing the same rough air, sharing the same pain, the same history. "You could kill me now," she whispered. "But you won't." He stared back. "You don't want to kill me either." Silence cut through the chaos. A real, honest silence, carrying a truth neither wanted to admit. Then they broke apart, both stepping back at the same time, both realizing something had changed. This was no longer a duel, not truly. This was a conversation of blades. A message written in pain and resolve. The huntress lowered her spear slightly. Her voice quiet, human, she said. If we stop now, the high circle will call it weakness. They will purge your world. He raised his knife again. Then we don't stop, he said, but we choose how it ends. She nodded once. A warrior's agreement, a promise. They charged again, their weapons meeting with a crack that echoed across the valley. Dust exploded around them. The drone shimmered brighter, recording every strike, every breath, every heartbeat. This was the final duel. Not for life, not for death, but for Earth. For the future of two species. For the truth the galaxy needed to see. And neither of them would stop until that truth was clear. Asterisk. The clash echoed across the valley like thunder. Each strike sent waves of dust rolling. Each movement carved deeper lines into the ground. Human and Huntress fought with the full weight of two species behind them. The drone shimmered above, watching, recording, judging. The high circle was watching. And whatever happened in this valley would decide humanity's fate. The Huntress leapt forward. Spear flashing with green light, he moved under the swing. Feeling the heat of the weapon brush his hair, he stepped in close. Slicing upward with his blade, she twisted aside, the knife cutting a thin line across her armor. They landed opposite each other again, panting, bleeding, their bodies covered in dust and sweat. This cannot last, she said. Her voice was low, tired, but still sharp. If we continue, one of us will die. He nodded slowly. That's what your leaders want. She looked up at the drone, then back at him. Not exactly, she whispered. They want fear. They want proof that humans cannot match us. He wiped blood from his chin, his hand shaking slightly. And if one of us dies, they win. The Huntress took a deep breath. Yes, a cold truth settled inside him. This duel was a trap, not to kill him, but to break the idea of humanity, to show weakness, to crush any hope for Earth. He tightened his grip. If the galaxy wants fear, he said, then we show them something else. She tilted her head slightly. What? Strength, he said, but not the kind they expect. The Huntress lowered her spear just a fraction. What are you thinking? He stared straight into her green eyes. A fight can show power, he said. But mercy, he pointed to the sky. Mercy can show something stronger. The Huntress froze, her jaw tensed, her breath hitched. Human, she whispered, if you stop now, they will think you are weak. He shook his head. No, he said. They will think humans choose when to fight, and when not to. She stared at him for a long moment. Then her expression changed, softened. Understanding flickered behind her eyes. You want to end this without killing? Yes, he answered. And you know that's what scares them most. The Huntress stepped back slowly, her spear lowered fully. The sound of battle quieted. Only the wind spoke now. Sweeping across the silent valley, she lifted her hand gently. A warrior's signal of surrender. A signal she had never made in her entire life. The drone above flickered violently, recording every second. Stunned, confused, uncertain. Why? She asked softly, almost to herself. Why spare me? He breathed deeply. Because humans don't kill for pride. Because I want the galaxy to see something different. And because... He hesitated, looking at her with the weight of 15 years behind his eyes. You're not my enemy anymore. The Huntress stood frozen, her spear still in the dust. Her breath shaking slightly, she whispered. No mortal has ever surrendered before. Maybe it's time for change. He replied. The valley grew colder, the sky darker. But a strange peace settled between them. Something new, something fragile, something important. The drone drifted lower. Its bright lens focused on them. The high circle was watching every breath. The Huntress looked at it, then back at him. If they see this, she said, they will call me a traitor. He nodded sadly. And they will call me a threat. She took a step toward him. And Earth? He stared into her eyes. We will fight, he said. We always fight. For the first time. The Huntress smiled, a small, sharp smile, but real. I believe that now, she whispered. After everything I have seen. The drone buzzed loudly, projecting a message in Cortal script across the sky. She read it quickly, her expression tightening. They demand the kill, she translated. One must fall. Or they send the purge immediately. He felt cold steel inside his chest. But she stepped forward, her voice firm. Stronger than the sky above them, I will not kill you, she said. And you will not kill me, he nodded. Then what do we do? The Huntress picked up her spear and placed it between them. Then she broke it in half, snapping the ancient weapon like brittle glass. The sound echoed across the valley. A sound the drone could not ignore. She looked up at the drone. Her voice loud, sharp, full of command. Send this to the high circle, she said. The hunt is over. The drone spun violently, almost confused, then fled into the sky. Carrying the message into space, she turned to him. You may have started as my prey, she said. But now you are my proof. And you, he replied. You're my ally. They stood together in the valley. Two warriors once locked in a deadly hunt, now united against a greater threat. At dawn, she said, we prepare. For what? He asked. She looked toward the stars, her eyes hardening. For war, the wind swept across the valley as the first light rose. The hunt was over, the alliance had begun. And the future of Earth would be written by both of them, together.